so far really talking about the agronomy of the orchard and managing the agronomy and pest management for optimization of your return on investment, your yield, and how much it costs you to get to that yield. Just as we conclude, as you started to hear from Zach Ellis with Olam, there's some added benefits in the marketplace and to other aspects of growing almonds from using some of these practices, particularly some of these practices like cover crops, compost, some things outside the orchard. We're starting to see more value in the marketplace. Zach mentioned bee-friendly farming. This is a certification program run by Pollinator Partnership. They are not here today, but we do have information on our website about their program. If you participate in the California Almond Stewardship Platform, or CASP, you can use that platform to very easily apply for certification, because we've aligned the questions in that platform with the requirements for bee-friendly farming. And if you come to the Almond Conference in December, they will be present. But feel free to go to our website to get more information on that program. That program has some value in the marketplace, and I think we'll hear a little bit more about that. But so do sort of soil health practices as consumers and food brands start to think about those. We're going to hear from two different handlers, Harris Wolf and Blue Diamond, who have been leaning into these issues in the marketplace and working with their growers to take advantage of that. And then very nicely, we also heard about the benefit of cover crops, particular species mix that have brassicas in them, the yellow blooming radish-like plants that you see in a number of these pictures, including on the cover of this, that have particular benefits to honeybees that are present in the orchard at the time of the year when that cover crop could be in bloom. So we'll hear a little bit about that, and also about an important program that does help you access some free seed to give cover crops a try. So maybe I'll start with you, Stetson. And if you could talk a little bit about Project Apis M Seeds for Bees. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Stetson Maldonado. I'm with Project Apis M, and I'm the manager for the Seeds for Bees program. And I'll be talking a little bit about what our program offers. So Seeds for Bees was created because Project Apis M was founded to research honeybees and many issues that our honeybees are facing. And a lot of those issues are based off of nutrition or the lack of nutrition. So Seeds for Bees was created to offer free or discounted cover crop seed to farmers with the idea of increasing nutrition and the forage that's available to honeybees. So in our program, first-year applicants get $2,500 in discounted seed, and second-year applicants get $1,500. The only requirements is you need to have 4 acres or more that you can plant into cover crops, and you need to either grow or be located near a pollinated crop. Our application is currently open. You can access it at Project Apis M and go to our Seeds for Bees tab. So if you're interested in cover crops and all the benefits that you can achieve, you can apply to our program and you can try this for free. We have a variety of different crops. We have 4 that are designed to go in the orchard. We have one that's very much like what's on the cover. If you can present, yeah. So we have 2 that are very much like that. We have a brassica mix. That one's really splendid for bees. It's great in almond crops because it blooms around the same time that almonds do, and that's when the bees are in almonds. So it's quite splendid. And we have other ones that are designed to really build your soil organic matter. We have mixes that'll help you achieve, fix some nitrogen in your soil. And there's a lot of options. We also offer free technical advising. If you have questions or needs, you could always reach out to us, whether you're in the program or not. We're here to help and we're here to educate.
Thanks. I can't stress enough how well designed this program is for almonds. Project Apis M is actually a spin-off from the Almond Board. So a lot of really great opportunity. And I have heard some growers are given a bit of extra credit with their beekeeper if they have a cover crop that blooms at the same time as almonds, like their pollinator mix or even their soil builder mix, because beekeepers know that their hives will be healthier coming out of an orchard that has cover crop. Just to, again, kind of mix a little bit of research in there, the Almond Board has done research to show specifically that blooming cover crop at the time of almonds those blooms in the cover crop does not compete with the almond blossom for bee visitation. So if you're paying for honeybees, they're highly attracted to those almond blooms. They are going to the almond bloom in as many numbers, whether you had a cover crop or not. So it's not competing with it. And research does show that those hives come out of an almond orchard even healthier if there's a cover crop because of the added nutrition. So a lot of really great reasons to think about that in terms of not only the benefit to the honeybees and your relationship with your beekeeper, but also because here's a great program to try free cover crop seed and get some technical assistance. So encourage you to go to the back of the room and sign up while their free seed program is open to right now. So then thinking about, we've talked about pollinators, biodiversity, there's a lot of interest in the marketplace. So maybe Kate, if you can talk a little bit about Blue Diamond's program and why you guys have leaned in on some of these practices and what you're doing with your growers to help them adopt these practices.
So Kate Capurso, Blue Diamond Growers, on the sustainability team there. And I would say in terms of what we're seeing in the market, I'd break that down really into two core areas. One, really in that greater market, these food companies in particular are very much interested in carbon and in setting. And so many of these companies have set public targets, goals that they want and need to reach, and they are understanding that reaching through agriculture is a really, really important way to do that. And going into their supply chain and purchasing ingredients like almonds that are grown in ways with carbon benefits and these programs built into them, it is an opportunity for them to make that connection through their supply chain and help reach those goals at the same time. And then the other side is really on the consumer side, where we've seen that there's greater interest in regenerative practices and regenerative agriculture. People really want a reason and an excuse to keep eating the foods they love, like almonds. And so when they can feel good about how these foods are produced, it really helps give them a reason or an excuse to continue eating them. And so those are kind of those two key things that we've seen across markets and with consumers as well.
Talk a little bit about the program.
Yeah. So our programs at Blue Diamond, we're really focused on helping our growers. We're a co-op of about 3,000 growers, most of which are still very small family-owned farms. And so we're really focused on breaking down some of those barriers and addressing those challenges, a lot of which we've talked about today, particularly in that last session. Cost is, of course, a big one. And so ways that we are trying to tackle that are through cost sharing with our growers, as well as premiums for their almonds that are grown through our stewardship program. And then, of course, we have this large USDA grant that we were awarded recently. And so that's really going to help add resources to these programs that we have already had in our plans and in a lot of cases actually had already begun work on. But it really helps provide a lot of support behind that. In addition to the financial side, we are also looking to support and making plans to support our growers in the equipment side. So we just heard a question about these seeders and the cost of them and how can we make that doable. And so we have plans to, with them, invest in some no-till seeders to make those available to our growers, as well as some technical assistance. So partnering particularly with organizations like Project Apis AM and Pollinator Partnership, and their bee-friendly farming program to really help make sure there is enough of this technical assistance available to work with the growers to help them understand and work through their individual scenarios and circumstances and how to best apply these practices for highest efficiency and efficacy.
Thank you. So I'm Chase Higginbotham. I'm the Vice President of Grower Relations for Harris Wolf, and I also oversee all of our sustainability programs with our growers. So aside from the premiums that we see associated with this sustainable product, as a processor, we also feel that we gain a lot of value in being able to differentiate ourselves within the market and then also open up as many sales avenues as possible for ourselves and our growers. There's 100 different almond processors in California, and most of us spend our time battling over kernel sales, in-shell sales. And if we look into the marketplace for sustainable almonds, there are only a handful of growers, operating in that space right now. We all know that there are ebbs and flows as far as almond sales. There may be a lot happening at one time. Here recently, it's been pretty slow. So during those slow times, having these additional avenues allow us to keep product moving throughout the season, getting sales back to our growers, and also keeping product moving out of the warehouse. Our main customers for sustainability are large CPGs here in North America. That allows us to also keep a lower export percentage than the industry average. That actually came in pretty handy this time last year. I'm sure everybody remembers the log jams at the ports, all of the export issues. And I'm not saying we weren't unaffected by that, but having large growers or large customers here in North America to continue shipping product took a little bit of the sting off of those port issues. And so the programs that we have focused on for sustainability, one is the CASP program through the Almond Board. Any growers that have not yet participated, I would encourage you to do so. It's all it takes is time. It might take you a couple hours, and it'll kind of, give you some feedback and see where you land, in sustainability. You might think that, some of our growers feel that sustainability is a 4-letter word. Through these programs, we want to help them realize they actually aren't that far away. Growers may have water management plans, but the core of that was to save water, reduce their cost. Nitrogen management plans to cut back on their costly farming inputs, integrated pest management, all of these in place where the main focus was to save money and improve their yields. It also gets them 90% of the way to becoming a sustainable farmer. So to complete CASP, I think a lot of growers might realize they're a little closer than they think. The other programs we're focused on is pollinator health through Pollinator Partnership, and then also eco practices, which is a little broader grower assessment and takes a little deeper dive into a grower's carbon footprint and greenhouse gas emissions. So we are incentivizing our growers to participate in these programs. So these sustainable almonds, there's value in there for our customers, there's value for us as a handler, and we want to make sure that value is being returned to the grower as well. Because at the end of the day, it's the grower's hard work, and time spent doing these programs. So we want to make sure some of that's realized.
All right, we can open it up for some questions.
So we actually have a couple of different programs that provide premiums or cost-sharing benefits to our growers with these practices. And so high-level answer is both. We have our Orchard Stewardship Incentive Program. We call it OSIP internally. But OSIP is a tiered program. It also utilizes CASP as well as a couple other programs that are top tier, including getting bee-friendly farming certified. So that program is tiered. There's a base amount, and then it's on a per pound basis. And the higher the level, the higher the premium per pound. The new program that we are implementing or about to implement with this USDA grant is a little bit different. And so that is really we are covering the cost of seeds and plugs for cover crop, for conservation cover or bee pasture, as well as for hedgerows. And so all of those costs will be covered for our growers, as well as then getting a per acre cost share from us as well for those management practices and techniques and costs that come along with that. And so that one will be kind of those flat rates per acre. And in terms of what it will look like down the line, we are still in discovery. So these USDA grants, the Climate Smart grants, are really pilots for the industry to discover and to figure out what works best. And so as we are participating in this pilot program, a lot of it will be around discovery to understand what the market wants and needs a little bit better, and how to best translate that into premiums for our growers.
All right. Well, I thank all of you for coming to share your experience and where you see your operations heading. That is the main part of the content today. I will say we're going to take about a 20-minute break to allow you to go get lunch. You're welcome to eat in here. We have a really nice finishing panel that you can listen to over lunch to hear about the many incentive programs and how specifically to take advantage of them to reduce your risk and to share some of the costs. So thanks again for all of the speakers today. I hope it found something useful in the content. I think we'll probably be doing a survey afterwards. Highly encourage your input. We want to make these things useful to you. So grab some lunch, come back in, and learn about incentives that you can access. Thank you for it.